after a career in fashion, I wound up going back to school. I had sort of this, spiritual awakening. And one day I was walking down the street, and there was a homeless man on the street, and I saw him, and for some reason, there were always homeless men on the street, but this one just struck me in a certain way, and I decided that I really needed to do something different with my life. So I changed careers, and I went back to graduate school to get my master's in social work. And I went to university for my graduate degree, and while I was in university, I had more free time on my hands, so someone suggested I go to this yoga studio, which is Dharma Yoga Center in New York City, which you may know, on 23rd Street. So I started going to Dharma. It's probably like it's around 1990, and he really opened my eyes in a very powerful way to the potential of the yoga practice. Not so much the asanas, but really I took all of his courses. Meditation and psychic development, and I started having a daily practice, and it really had a profound influence on my life. And I think it's what gave me the energy to be able to go into the inner city, because I did then become a social worker, and I worked in Harlem for years in inner city schools. And I think it was my connection to the divine, that spiritual connection that Dharma ignited inside of me, that allowed me to go into those trenches and work and hold some faith and hope for the children. And then I practiced with Dharma for many, many years, and my career changed. I wound up leaving the social work arena. A friend of mine, I had wound up getting burned out. It wasn't because of the work I was doing. I worked with my second job was then with the Partnership for the Homeless, which was for homeless people with HIV. It was a very intense administration and a lot of bureaucratic stress. So I got to a point where I needed to break, and a friend of mine who owned a personal training business invited me to come and work with him, and we started doing consulting, wellness consulting, and teaching yoga and meditation, just everything I had learned from Dharma Vicha. At that time, there really wasn't a formal yoga alliance certification, so I just taught what I knew. And it was really an amazing experience. I would go in the inner city in the morning and do volunteer work, and then in the afternoon I would work with clients at a very high socioeconomic level in New York City society, people, and trying to help them manage stress through yoga and meditation. And I also worked with corporations, and through that I connected with my ex-business partner. And so it's interesting today we're doing the interview, because today is when I am making the final payout to my ex-business partner to buy Sonic Yoga. So I met him from a client, and I came to see him because maybe I was going to do some workshops for him or something, and it was here in the space on the second floor. We had the second floor, and 3 hours later I came out his business partner, and before you know it, I'm owning a yoga studio, and I had no intention of ever owning a yoga studio. Right around that time, right when we had first opened the studio, I met my teacher now, who is Shiva Ray. And after being with Dharma for so many years, and it was a very beautiful practice, but it was, he's a man, so it's a different relationship. And I really met Shiva right at that time, where it was, I think, at the perfect moment for me to move into a mentor-student relationship with the teacher who was a woman. And so I went through a great transformation with her together. I've studied with her and practiced with her and assisted her all over the world for, I guess it's going to be almost 10 years now. Yoga is a celebration. It's a celebration of the realization that you are something more than just this body and this crazy, distracted, stressed out, overwhelmed mind, right? When we realize that there's something deeper that moves us, when we connect to that force inside of us that is all-knowing, all blissful, all peaceful, and essentially, it's bringing the inside to the outside. What is a yogi? A yogi is someone who lives yoga, who walks the path, who practices their yamas and their niyamas and the full 8-limbed path, who lives from their heart and is concerned about other people, who selflessly does karma yoga practices, cares for the earth and the planet. Right? What is a yogi? A yogi is someone who is on the path to growth and change and isn't afraid of difficulty and intensity, who uses the discipline of the skills and the tools of the yoga practice to persevere, to move through the difficult times in life so that they can then be present and free to celebrate the joy and the bliss of the peaks of life, you know. I think yoga helps people because it encourages them to get out of their minds and to realize that there is something greater. There is something greater. If we can help people to remember that they are not just their mind and their thoughts and their responsibilities and their to-do list. We can remind them that they are broader or grander or greater or more graceful or more full or more abundant or more joyous than just those small thoughts in their minds, then I think we've done them a service. I contribute by number one, holding the space for my yoga studio, and we offer many teacher training programs here, and our teacher training programs are geared on really helping people to learn about yoga and the sadhana of yoga, which is really the spiritual practice of yoga beyond the athletic part of it, and encouraging them to really be karma yogis and to give of themselves and to help make the world a better place. And we also have a organization called the Fresh Foundation. It's just in its seed form. We're just developing it now, and it's comes from my roots in Harlem, in the inner city where I came from as a teacher, and it's an organization, a nonprofit organization that brings children from the inner city into yoga studios. So it's all based on karma yoga and selfless service. So the children perform karma yoga in order to earn karma points, which will allow them to then come and practice yoga in the yoga studios. And the yoga teachers provide this selfless service of teaching the students. The yoga studios donate the studio space, and the yoga students who practice at the studios can be mentors to those students. So everyone is sort of giving, and it comes around. And then ultimately the goal is to take those students on retreats and take them out into nature and travel to places where they would never ever have the opportunity to be. The style of yoga that we practice here is prana flow yoga, and also strict vinyasa yoga that comes through the lineage of Krishnamacharya. Prana yoga is also influenced by Ayurveda and by tantric philosophy. It was created by Shiva Ray, and she has strongly influenced many of the teachers that work here at Sonic Yoga, and myself as well. So mainly it's been Dharma Mitra, Shiva Ray. I've trained with a lot of teachers over the course of my 20 or so year career as a yoga teacher. The teachers that teach me how to move beyond the asana. So some of them may not be as well known, like Amma, who's the hugging saint, who I was just with in July, I get my hug every year. And my Tuari Swami Titimanda, who has the Wise Earth Monastery. She's an Ayurvedic teacher. She's a great spiritual guide. Just my husband, who's my amazing teacher, JJ. He's a Buddha. He's a phenomenal man. He's not like a yogi per se, but he is practicing yoga in every minute. And my daughter Jaya, who's 2.5. And she's, Ichiho knows her. She is, wow. I don't know what she is going to become, but it's a powerful force. She is an amazing spirit with a huge heart. If you can have access to a yoga studio, I would strongly suggest going to a yoga studio. There are some very good basic beginner yoga DVDs, but there's really something special about having the interaction in person with the yoga teacher. And I wouldn't just throw myself into any class. I really would seek out a beginner class, a beginner level class. At Sonic we have beginner workshops, so it's like a 4 or 6 week intensive where you go every week and you learn the fundamentals. You want to ease your way in. You don't want to just jump into something and then you wind up getting injured or it's too challenging and then you hurt yourself or you have a negative experience and then you don't want to come back. There is a yoga for everyone. So if you try yoga once and you don't like it, you should try another yoga studio or another style. It's like saying, like, you know, you don't like ice cream because you don't like pistachio, but you probably could like chocolate. Do you know what I mean? Or another flavor. So yoga is a big, big, big tradition, and there are many schools and many styles, and each style has its own unique community. So it's important when you look for a yoga studio that you find a studio that you resonate with and you feel comfortable with. You should feel like you love to go to your yoga studio. If you don't feel that way, I would try a different one. I think the message is just, you know, what's going on in the planet right now, and I'm sure a lot of the yoga teachers are saying the same thing, and do your best to be conscious. You know, be conscious every movement that you make as you move through life. How is it affecting those around you? How is it affecting the planet? If there are ways for you to turn things off, then turn things off. If there are ways for you to help someone else, right? I mean, if you're in that state where you need, right now, you need help, then help yourself. It's okay, right? It's okay. Sometimes we need to just take care of ourselves. But once you start to feel a little bit of power moving through you, then take it, you know, bring it. Bring it to someone who needs it, to some place in the world. And if you can't go there, you can just sit with the power of your intention and your prayers. And don't think that that doesn't have any power, because it does. If you're not sure, go to Dharma Mitra. He will teach you how to open your psychic channels, and you will be able to literally use the power of your intention to impact change in your own life, but also in the life of others.